Support for Radio Friends comes from OsteoStrong. Improvements in bone density, strength, and power can be achieved by weekly 5-minute no-sweat sessions on their 4-spectrum machines. These isometric robotic machines safely emulate high-impact loading on different parts of the skeletal system, which stimulates activity in bone-building cells. Balance and agility can be improved by 2-minute sessions on vibration plates. Every session is supervised by a trained coach. Learn more on Facebook or call to set up a complimentary wellness assessment and session. Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Thursday, September the 2nd. We have my friend Nadia Navarrete-Tindall with us, the native plant expert of Central Missouri. Good to have you here, Nadia.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. But we have so many people that know about native plants. I'm just one of them.
Okay. And you're our native plant expert, okay, here on Radio Friends.
Okay,
now, you brought along, I want to pick this up. You brought along a vase full of native plant berries here, right?
Yes. Yes. Uh-huh.
Now, on one of these, they kind of look like little grapes, but this is poke I'm holding, poke berries.
Yeah, and we were talking about that you can eat the leaves, but today what I want to focus on is about the berries that are produced now, this time of the year. And they are really good for the birds. Some of these plants that I brought you can be edible. Like poke, the berries should be toxic. So I wouldn't recommend anybody to eat them.
Okay, you're saying the berries of the poke are toxic.
Yeah.
But the leaves of the poke you can eat them like spinach. I grew up eating poke. We would pick those big poke leaves and then cook them like spinach.
But you have to be also careful because there's so many studies that have been done about different species through the years. And it is recommended to boil the leaves of poke early in the spring 2 or 3 times.
Boil them 2 or 3 times?
Yeah, because they are considered, some people just are allergic to them.
But if you're boiling it 2 or 3 times, aren't you boiling all the nutrients out of it?
Yeah, so it's just up to people. But that's what you can find in references now. And so you just have to be careful. Some people eat them.
But just be careful. I ate them. We grew up eating poke like spinach. And then my mother would even, after she boiled it, then she would make them into little patties with eggs and Parmesan cheese and breadcrumbs and fry it.
Yeah.
And it was so good.
I can imagine. And I had them. So I don't mind to eat them, but I just have to people have to be careful.
Okay.
Some people are allergic.
Okay. What are some of the other things that you have here?
Let's see. We have arrowwood, and those are the berries. And this is a viburnum plant. Uh-huh. It's actually very common in Missouri, and the birds just love those berries. We have all these berries that I brought you today, like the poke, viburnum, and then or arrowwood.
Now, what about the little red berries?
The red berries are spicebush.
A spicebush?
Spicebush berries. And just as a nice thing about them is that they're related to avocado. They're in the avocado family.
Oh, really?
So
they grow wild here?
They grow wild, and you can grow them. You can buy them from nurseries, and they're really, really good for the birds. We saw our bluebirds and robins eating those berries in the morning today. And we have another one. Besides the poke, we have elderberry. Yeah. That's what and elderberry is very...
Did you bring elderberry here today?
It is right in front of you. That panicle.
Uh-huh.
Yes, that one, it is, people use it for medicinal purposes.
Elderberry, yeah.
And also, but the
elderberry
birds...
wine, too.
Elderberry wine, they sell the juice that can be very expensive in health food stores. Okay. But you can make your own, you can grow it at home. These are all from our backyard, and we live in Colombia. And one more that
now, did you plant these, or were they all native in your yard?
The only one that we didn't plant from this group is poke. They come on their own. The birds bring the berries. Yeah. So you don't have to worry about planting them. But the other 3 you might find elderberry. Actually, that one grew in our yard, but it might be from some seed that I brought myself.
Now, Virginia creepers, those are good for the birds too, aren't they?
Yes, they are, and they are also very important. The leaves of the plant is a host plant for some moths and butterflies. So it's not only about the berries, but the berries are good for the...
Yeah. Plus, the Virginia creeper, it's a very pretty vine.
Yes.
It's a real pretty vine. I'm very fortunate to have so much wild Virginia creeper all over my property. The only bad thing about them is in June and July, the Japanese beetles love the Virginia creepers.
Yeah, they do. But, I mean, they survive, they keep growing.
They do.
And so that's what it is. So all these native plants, native shrubs are so resilient, and we just have to think about adding them in a backyard or in a front yard. All these shrubs that I mentioned are in our backyard. The one that we don't have, but I brought it for you, actually we do have one, is we have 3 different kinds of sumacs.
Sumac.
Yes, we
now,
have.
Isn't sumac poison?
We have people usually ask me that because there is one poison sumac, and the berries are from green to white. But the sumacs, and they are related, but we don't have them in our area. They grow in wetlands, actually.
So you don't have the poison sumac?
No, I don't.
Well, how can you tell the difference between the poison sumac?
Because the berries are different. Like it's what I brought, these 3 different berries. This is sumac, winged sumac. This is aromatic sumac or fragrant sumac.
Now, for people listening on the radio, describe it. The first one is, they look like little black...
They're kind of dark red, crimson red. Those are the winged sumac berries. Then the a little larger, they're very small berries. And then for the fragrant sumac, they have larger berries, but they have produce less, and they're forming panicles, but they're much smaller.
They're in clusters, yeah.
They're kind of in clusters, yes. And then they all have some tints of red. Fragrant sumac is more like an orange color. And then we have smooth sumac that is more like a red.
Okay.
So there are 3 different colors. And again, the poison sumac is white or green berries.
And you were telling me also that poison ivy that grows prolifically here is good for the birds. The berries on the berries on the poison ivy are good for the birds.
That's right. So if you just of course, people, if you have it in your yard, you shouldn't have it. But in open areas, why not?
The birds eat them. Ivy.
Yeah,
a lot of poison ivy through the wood.
So feel good about it because you have enough food for the birds in your property.
All right. If you want more information on any of these, you can go to your Facebook page, which is...
It's Native Plants and More.
Okay.
And I also, they can send me messages or...
We're out of time, Nadia.
Okay.